A palliative care nurse named Bronnie Ware spent years working with people in the final weeks of their lives. She started writing down what they talked about, what they wished had been different. The number one thing she heard, more than anything else: "I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Not money, not career, that." She kept hearing it from person after person, not from people who had failed, from people who had played it safe their whole lives, and only understood the cost of that at the very end. People who had built exactly the life they were supposed to build, and spent years wondering why it still felt like something was missing. In the last video, we talked about how almost every problem in your life traces back to your relationships with other people. The relationship with your partner that pulls you in one direction, the one with your parents that quietly shapes every decision you think you're making freely, the bond with your kids that anchors you, beautifully, but sometimes heavily. Every one of those connections means something, but together they create a web. And somewhere inside that web, the person you actually want to be gets harder and harder to find. What sits underneath all of that is something simpler: the desire to live as yourself. And the reason most people never get there isn't circumstance. It isn't the relationships themselves. It's courage. That's what this video is about. Alfred Adler, one of the three founding fathers of modern psychology, alongside Freud and Jung, spent his career trying to understand why people stay stuck. Why do intelligent, capable, hardworking people still end up feeling like they're not living the life they actually want? And what he found was uncomfortable. He said all unhappiness comes from a lack of courage. Not bad luck, not the wrong circumstances. Courage. What Adler found isn't complicated, but it is the kind of thing that, once you hear it, you start seeing it everywhere. In your relationships, your work, the small choices you make without even noticing. There are people, capable by every measure, a life that looks completely fine from the outside, but they have a problem they can't quite name. They can't make a move. They've been thinking about making a real change for years. They know what they want, but every time they get close to actually doing something, a reason appears. The timing isn't right. I need to be more prepared. What if it fails and everyone sees? So they wait, and while they wait, the frustration quietly builds. The feeling that something is missing in them, some ingredient other people have that they don't. But here's what they don't know. They're not lacking confidence or skill. They have produced, unconsciously, every single feeling of not being ready as a shield against one thing: the possibility of being judged. This is what Adler called the lifestyle trap. Your mind, at some point, probably when you were young and the world felt unpredictable, decided that the safest way to live was to stay acceptable, to never stray too far from what other people approve of. And it has been running that program ever since. The terrifying part: you think it's just who you are. You call it being careful, being realistic. But Adler had a different word for it. He called it a chosen unhappiness. And that word, chosen, changes everything. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Courage is not a feeling. That's the biggest lie we've been told. The idea that one day something will click. You'll wake up, feel different, feel ready, and then you'll finally act. That is not how it works. Think about every person you admire. The ones who built something, said something, risked something. Do you think they felt ready? Do you think the fear was gone before they moved? No, they were terrified. The difference is not that they had less fear. It's that they stopped waiting for the fear to disappear before they acted. Adler puts it plainly: you do not build courage slowly over time. You do not accumulate it until you have enough. You choose it in a single moment, right now. And the moment you make that choice, not the moment you feel ready, not the moment you've prepared enough, that is the moment your life starts to move in a different direction. But here's what most people miss. The real enemy isn't the fear of failure. It's the fear of what other people will think when you fail. And that brings us to the most important idea in this entire video. The reason you're not free is because you're addicted to other people's approval. And the only thing that breaks that is being willing to be disliked. You soften what you say, you hold back what you actually think, you stay somewhere you've outgrown because leaving feels too exposed. And the painful part? You never get to keep the approval you worked so hard for. The moment you stop performing, it disappears. Adler called the need for approval the single biggest thief of human freedom. Not your past, not your circumstances, just that. The daily choice of someone else's comfort over your own truth. He had a name for what breaks that pattern. The courage to be disliked. Now, that sounds harder than it is. It doesn't mean going out of your way to upset people or being careless with the ones you love. It just means this. You're willing to accept being disliked as a side effect of living honestly. When you set a boundary, someone might not like it. When you say what you actually think, someone might push back. That's okay. The person who is free isn't the one who figured out how to avoid that. It's the one who made peace with it. And here's the part that sounds wrong until you actually live it. The person who stops needing approval is almost always more liked than the one performing for it. Because they're real, and people can feel that. Adler had a practical tool for this. He called it the separation of tasks. The idea is simple. Every situation in life has tasks, responsibilities, decisions, emotions, and each one belongs to someone, either to you or to the other person, not both. Your job is to know which is which. When you're afraid to share your work, judging it as their task, not yours. When you set a boundary and someone gets upset, managing that feeling is their task, not yours. When you make a decision about your own life and someone disagrees, approving of it is their task, not yours. You act according to your own values. What other people do with that is their business. The most common pushback is, but what if I hurt someone? Adler's answer is direct. Ask yourself honestly, are you concerned about their pain? Or are you afraid of being blamed for it? Those are two very different things. Most of the time when we hold back in the name of protecting someone else, we're protecting ourselves. The separation of tasks doesn't make you cold. It just makes you honest. I want you to try something. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're 80 years old, sitting somewhere quiet. The deadlines, the expectations, the noise of everyone else's opinions, all of it has faded. And you're looking back, not at what you achieved, at how it felt to be alive, at the moments that made you feel like yourself, and the ones where you quietly weren't. What you'll see in that moment isn't a life that happened to you. You'll see a life built from choices, some you made consciously, most you didn't even realize you were making. The quiet moments when you had something to say but didn't, the version of yourself you kept postponing, decisions that felt small at the time, but shaped everything that came after. Adler said something that changes everything once you really hear it. Your life is not determined by what happened to you. It's determined by what you choose. That's terrifying at first, because it means there's no one else to blame, no wrong timing to point to. But it means something extraordinary too. If your life is built from choices, then the very next choice you make changes the direction of everything that follows. Not a dramatic decision, just the next honest one. Adler called this the moment of liberation. The instant you stop seeing yourself as a product of your past and start seeing yourself as the author of what comes next. You are not the pattern you've been running. You are what you choose. And this moment, right now, is already a choice. You already know what this is about for you. There's something you've been putting off, a conversation you haven't had, a version of yourself you haven't let out yet, a choice you keep returning to, but haven't made. You know what it is, so start. Not tomorrow, not when the timing is better, not when you've figured out what everyone around you will think. Start thinking about what you actually want, not what you've been told to want. Start planning a life that belongs to you, not one that was quietly designed by everyone else's expectations. Start breaking free from the bonds that have been holding you in place, the ones you built yourself, the ones you forgot were even there. Adler believed that the moment you choose courage, really choose it, the web begins to loosen, not all at once, but one thread at a time. The relationship you've been afraid to be honest in, the opinion you've been afraid to voice, the life you've been afraid to claim. Every choice you make from a place of courage, however small, is a piece of the life you actually want to live. That's how it gets built. That's the only way it ever gets built. The only question, the only one that has ever really mattered, is whether today is the day.